Level 83, Chords. Introducing the full bar. Soon we're going to be learning chords like the B minor and the F sharp major chord. And those involve bars. So why do we need a bar? Well, because we're out of fingers. When it comes to the B minor chord, we have to use 5 strings to make the chord, but we only have 4 fingers. So the first finger is going to have to take on some extra responsibility. And in the case of the B minor chord, that is the bar is having to take on the A string and the little E string. So fingers 2, 3, and 4 are able to get the middle of the chord, but the outer parts of the chord are covered with the bar. When it comes to the F sharp major chords and chords like it, we have 6 strings. And so in this case, we need the full bar because the first finger is having to take on the big E string, the little E string, and then the B string, as fingers 2, 3, and 4 take on the middle part of the chord. Now the good news is, although bar chords are probably the most difficult type of chords you'll be learning, it yields a lot more chords with less work. So for instance, the F sharp major chord is performed by making a bar chord at the 2nd fret. But if I move it up a half step, that same shape becomes a G major chord. Now it's a G sharp major chord. And we have an A chord. And so this chord is movable across the neck. One shape yields 12 chords. So with that being said, hopefully I've sold you on the idea of learning your bar chords. Now we're not going to learn the B minor or the F sharp major today, but I'm going to prepare you for that. And in fact, this lesson is going to be even more difficult than the lesson for learning those 2 chords. And that's because this one finger is going to take on the full responsibility of all 6 strings. And that's your goal, is to be able to use the bar to produce all those notes with one finger. Now don't get scared off about learning the full bar. You've already done part of the leg work, and that's with the F major chord. And this chord's been part of your practice routine for some time now. You're already producing a bar on the bottom 2 strings. So the same habits that you've learned on that chord can be carried over to the full bar. So by now you know how to hold the guitar properly. I would recommend looking at how to hold the guitar classical style. I think the steep angle that you get by holding the guitar this way will help you to yield better results with your bar here in the beginning. However you choose to hold the guitar, the most important thing is the angle of the neck. We need it to align with our fretting hand. And so that means you want your fingers running parallel to the frets. Try to remember that. You don't want your fingers going the opposite of the frets. You want the finger running parallel and as close to the fret that you can get it. And so holding the guitar with a steep angle is going to aid in that. And then the other is the elbow position. I see a lot of beginners doing this. In fact, I see a lot of advanced players doing this. But look what it does to the bar. It pulls the finger out away from the fret. So keeping the elbow in aligns the finger with the fret. And that's going to make learning the full bar much, much easier. So we've established a good seating position. Our elbow is in. And it's time to talk about finger placement. And if you look on the side of my finger, notice those lines. That's where I'm pushing the full bar. I'm not pushing up against the fat part of the finger, not in the center. I'm pushing on the corner, on the thumb side of the finger. So right up against there. It's soft in the center of the finger. That acts as a sponge and it makes it hard to push the notes. The strings get absorbed into the finger. But if you turn it on its side like this, with less effort, you're able to get more pressure against the string. So that's the first advantage of playing on the side of the finger. And then the second is just alignment. When we make our bar chord like our B minor chord, which is coming up soon, we want good separation between the first finger and the second finger right here. So if you're playing on the fat part of the finger in the center, it makes it harder to open up the rest of the fingers. But once you turn that finger on its side and play on the corner, you're able to get that gap between the first finger and the second finger, which helps you to play closer to the frets with the fingers as well as the bar. So it has 2 advantages, alignment and pressure. Next, we're going to apply our technique to produce the full bar. Now here in the beginning, don't be too concerned about getting all the notes to play. And some of you might have developed your own technique and you're able to produce sounds, but it could be something that's holding you back. I would much rather you use solid technique and not get sounds like that in the beginning, rather than use horrible technique and get sounds. That's not going to get you anywhere. So make sure that you use good technique, even if it costs you the ability to get all the sounds. Because I know once you've developed this technique, the strength will come soon. You'll develop the muscles and the flexibility to get all the sounds with your full bar. So here's a good path to learning the full bar. We're not going to work on the full thing just yet. Let's start on the little E and B strings. We're going to try to get the finger right up against the fret, just as you do with your F major chord. I want you to use the exact same technique to produce sound on the treble strings E and B. Once again, look at the side of my finger. That's where I'm pushing, right up against the side. And I'm parallel to the frets. I'm leaning against the fret as close as I can get. Once you've mastered that, then just bring it up to string G and work on producing sound with that. Now in the beginning, you might not get all the sounds, but with time, you're going to develop the flexibility and strength. And then once you've mastered that, then you move up to the D string. And after that, you move to string A. And then finally, your goal, all 6 strings. My finger is lined up, right up against that fret. No matter how I perform this, I've got good alignment. Once you've mastered this at the 2nd fret, you can try playing on different parts of the neck. For some of us, it may be more difficult to play higher up the neck because the action is a little higher on the strings. So we all have our weaknesses, but you don't want to get locked into one position all the time. Another thing is try to avoid fatigue by relaxing the hand, applying pressure only when you need it, and then letting go and resting. So when you set up this chord, get the look that you want without pushing. So focus on the technique part, the alignment, and the proximity to the fret. And once you've got the look that you want, squeeze, check your notes, and then let go so that you can rest. You can get a lot more repetitions in this way. Practicing with a tired hand is only going to produce poor results. So you want to make sure that you're well rested between each pressure attempt. And relax. Squeeze. And relax. Prepare. Squeeze. And relax. Excellent work. Now, if you're not getting all the sounds right away, that's okay. Just give it time. With good technique, you're going to get there. But if you've been doing this for some time and you're not getting the results you want, it could have something to do with your fundamentals. And for that, I would recommend revisiting Beginner 1, levels 1 through 10. And there I go over the fundamentals of proper fretting hand alignment. It could be your seating position. It could be the way that you're aligning your thumb. Maybe your thumb's too high, causing you to bend your wrist. Your thumb could be too low or too far to the left or right. It could be any one of those issues holding you back in the full bar. All right, well, good luck on that, and I'll see you in the next level.